Shirou let out a small sigh as he sat down on a couch in one of Chaldea's recreational rooms. Phew. Today was exhausting. Cooking for everyone in the cafeteria, especially for Arturia and her counterparts, man, it feels like every day is a rush hour for them. As Shirou continued to sit on the couch, he noticed that in the corner of the room was a plasma screen TV, and in front of it was a Nintendo Switch, its dock, left and right Joy-Con controllers and accompanying straps, a Joy-Con grip, an AC power adapter, an HDMI cable, and a few other video games. Is that a gaming console over there? And those colors, from what I heard from Master, that is a Nintendo Switch. Shirou thought. For a moment, he did nothing but just stare at the Nintendo Switch. Then he got off the couch and went over to where the Nintendo Switch was. Guess I could play with this for a bit. It shouldn't be wrong to play on a game console like this. Shirou picked up the console and checked to see where the power button was. As he found the button, he then turned the console on, and the first thing he saw was the loading screen, and it said, "Please press the same button 3 times." He followed the instructions that were on the screen and pressed the A button 3 times. Soon, the loading screen disappeared, and in its place was a selection of games that were on the screen. Shirou was amazed with the number of games that were on the screen. Some of them were franchises Shirou recognized from his past. Wow. There are so many video games here, and you don't need a game cartridge to input them in. Well, aside from the ones over there though. Still, video games has come a long way. Shirou thought as he remembered the days when he was in the clock tower, playing his childhood video games Taiga would usually ship over to him. Shirou then stopped the memories coming into his head and focused on the Nintendo Switch. As he did, he looked at the many apps that were on there. As he continued to inspect the Nintendo Switch in amazement, it was then that a certain servant came by and watched the whole thing. That servant was Tomoguzan, Archer of Inferno, and Chaldea's biggest gamer. HM? Isn't that Emiya Shirou? What's he doing over there with the Nintendo Switch Master Bot? Is he having trouble using it? Well, I feel like playing with the Nintendo Switch right now, so this is good timing for me. Tomo soon went into the recreational room, heading towards to where Shirou was. Emiya Shirou? Are you okay over there? She said, catching Shirou's attention. HM? Oh, hey there Tomo. I was just looking at the Nintendo Switch, and I'll admit, I'm quite amazed with how advanced it is. Tomo let out a smile. I know, right? Not only that, but buying video games is also easier as well. Thanks to the advancement of technology, you can buy video games on the console itself thanks to the online shops. Is that so? Shirou asked. Yeah. Wow. Video games really have changed since the last time I played them. Tomo's eyes lit up excitedly. Eh? You're a gamer too, Shirou? Well, not quite actually. I did spend some part of my childhood and a bit of my teen years playing video games, although they weren't this advanced as the ones now. Is that so? What games did you play, by the way? Some adventure games, some action games, and some racing games. I see. For a moment, Tomo was quiet as she was thinking of something. Hey Shirou, want to play video games with me? Shirou gave Tomo's question some thought and replied, sure. Why not? Tomo let out a smile. Great! Which game do you want to play first? HM. Well, something easy to play. It's been a long time since I played a video game, so I may be a bit rusty in this. Okay. If that's the case, then we'll play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Shirou was a little stunned at the game Tomo suggested. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? That famous franchise of racing games? Yeah. And it's easy to play. Tomo said with a smile on her face as she booted up the game on the Switch. If you like, I can give you a guidebook on how to play if you want. Sure. I don't mind. Great. I'll be right back for a moment. Tomo then left the room quickly and headed towards her room to grab the guidebook for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Shortly afterwards, she came back with the guidebook in her hands. Here you go. Great. Thanks Tomo, Shirou said as he took the guidebook from Tomo and started to read it. As he read it, he was surprised with the number of mechanics the game offered. Wow. There's so many mechanics the game has. Jump boosting, tricks, spin boost, anti-gravity roads, air, hang gliders, anti-gravity panels, spin boost pillars, coins. It feels way different from the Mario Kart I'm used to. And these new times, they look crazier than the blue shell. The controls though, they seem familiar at least, although I'm going to need some practice getting the tricks right though. After a few minutes of reading, Shirou was done reading the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe guidebook Tomo gave to him. Okay, I'm done with the guidebook Tomo. Great! Now let's start playing the game, she said happily as she started to set up the Nintendo Switch. As she did, she connected the Nintendo Switch to the plasma screen TV with the dock, allowing the plasma screen TV to show Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Alright, which stage do you want to go on? Well, I don't know actually. I don't have a personal preference, so any stage is fine for me. I see, well then, since you're starting to play this game for the first time, we'll go to the beginning stages, she said as she selected the first 4 easy stages. Alright, now we get to choose and customize our karts. Shirou was confused for a moment. Really? We're choosing and customizing our karts? Yeah. Wow. Now it feels like I've been living under a rock. I know. Video games change over time. The consoles, franchises, game mechanics, everything changes. Anyways, I'm done with customizing my kart. How about you? HM? Oh, yeah. I'm also done with customizing my kart as well. Great! Let's start the races now. Soon, Shirou and Tomo started playing in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's easy courses. At the first course, Shirou wasn't doing so well, and Tomo's character kept passing him, not to mention the fact that the item boxes were completely random and would give Tomo the good items for her to use, while Shirou would be unlucky and got the bad items. However, in the second course, Shirou was starting to get better after some practice and managed to knock down Tomo's character a few times with green shells, red shells, and a few other items. In fact, he was starting to get second and third place in the courses. Tomo was getting a little impressed at Shirou's progress. HM. Shirou seems to be getting good at Mario Kart 8 Deluxe now. Looks like the final course will finish things, she thought as she was getting excited a little. Soon, they were on the final course, and things were getting heated up as Tomo did not want to lose on the final course. Soon, the online Lakuta counted down the timer, and when the traffic light turned green, both Shirou and Tomo started their karts and headed off. As the race commenced, both Shirou and Tomo were at neck and neck with each other. Neither of them was letting the other pass by each other. As the race came to a close, Tomo was in first place and Shirou was in second place. This race will be mine, Tomo thought happily. However, it was then that her thoughts betrayed her. Because before Tomo could reach the finish line, Shirou hit an item box and received a red shell. Using that opportunity, he threw the red shell at her, hitting her before she could even reach the finish line. And then he passed her, allowing Shirou to win the course while Tomo ended up in second place. For a moment, Tomo was stunned with what just happened and didn't say anything as the results came up on the screen. Tomo, are you okay? For a moment, Tomo still didn't say anything. Then she let out a chuckle, which turned into a laugh. Ha 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 ha. Guess this is my loss, huh? Well then, this is something I did not expect. Eh? You're not mad? Shirou asked. Nope. Rather, I feel great. Now I know that you're great in video games, I won't hold back. Let's have another match, Shirou. Shirou was silent for a moment, before letting out a small smirk. As you wish. And the two proceeded to play another match of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Phew. That took a lot longer than I expected. All those papers to fill out, it feels like high school all over again. Geez, if this continues, I'm going to have nightmares about papers. I would rather deal with singularities than paperwork. Anyways, I feel like playing on the Nintendo Switch to relieve myself of stress from the paperwork. Ritsuka thought as he was walking down the hallway. As he headed over to the recreational room, he overheard a few voices coming out from there. Dang it. I lost. One more time, Shirou. Tomo yelled. As you wish, Shirou replied. Good. This time we're doing it on Rainbow Road. As Tomo was having her rematch against Shirou, Ritsuka overheard the conversation they just had. HM? Tomo? Shirou? Are they playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch? Well, that's new. I didn't even know that Shirou plays video games. And he's actually beating Tomo. That's impossible. No one here has ever beaten Tomo at video games. Especially at Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That's one of her favorite games. Ritsuka then went closer to the recreational room and peeked at what was going on inside. As he looked inside, he was shocked at what he just saw. Shirou was currently in first place and Tomo was in second place in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on Rainbow Road. Okay. Now I've seen everything. As Ritsuka continued to look at the sight of Shirou beating Tomo in shock, it was then that another servant came by. That servant was Alexander, King of Conquerors. Master. Alexander greeted in a booming voice. HM? Oh, hey there Alexander, Ritsuka replied. Master. What are you doing over there? Ritsuka then pointed at the recreational room and said, looking at that. Alexander was confused for a moment before looking at what Ritsuka was pointing at. As he did, he was amused with what he just saw. Dang it. I lost again. Another round. Tomo said. Shirou let out a small sigh. Alright. And then Shirou and Tomo started playing the game again. Meanwhile, both Ritsuka and Alexander were watching the scene with surprise on their faces. Wow. Now that's new, Alexander said. My thoughts exactly. Tomo, the biggest gamer in all of Chaldea, is losing to Shirou in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe of all things. Wrap that around your head, Ritsuka said. Yeah. Even I couldn't beat her in that video game of hers, but Emiya Shirou can. This is interesting. I'm going to join in too. Alexander said with excitement in his voice as he proceeded to head towards to where Shirou and Tomo was with Ritsuka soon following him. Emiya Shirou. Tomo Guzan, he exclaimed proudly as he made his presence known to both Shirou and Tomo. HM? Oh, hey there Alexander, Shirou said. Hey there Alexander, Tomo said. So. I see that you two are playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, correct? Alexander asked. Yes. And Shirou kept beating me in most of the stages. Tomo exclaimed. Yeah. We kind of overheard you too, sorry. Ritsuka apologized. It's okay, Master. I was being a bit too loud after all, Tomo replied. Anyways. Me and Master want to join in on your game. Do you mind? Alexander asked. No. I don't mind, Shirou replied. Me too. The more players, the more fun the game is. Tomo said excitedly, forgetting her losses against Shirou temporarily. Alexander let out a huge grin. Great! Let's start this game then. And thus, Shirou, Tomo, Alexander, and Ritsuka played Mario Kart 8 Deluxe together.